Hi guys, welcome back to the podcast. I'm Gabby, this is Maf. We finally have a name for our podcast. Very exciting stuff. It's taken us like a few episodes to get here, but we've done that. It took us a while to get everything like sorted.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like the first episode we ever recorded was at like the beginning of July, I think.
Yeah.
And
we were talking about Pride.
Yeah.
And
now it's almost October.
It is.
So the ball has been rolling, but slowly
but surely. Although also, like, it was just like you were away for most of August.
Yeah.
I was dealing with my nightmare job for September. So we're back better than ever. Woo. And we have a name finally. Our name is Brain Frog.
Yes.
Which we conceptualized mid-August, and we were just like at the park, and then we got a little vibey, we got a little wavy, and then later that night we were like, we were just texting, and then I think I'm gonna find the thread. You talk.
Basically I forget like how we were just trying to decide podcast ideas. I feel like we've been going like back and forth for a while trying to figure it out. We had a bunch of options and none of them felt right, and I forget what we were saying, but we were like brain fog because of the ADHD. You can continue explaining because I feel like you've got the actual real time
text
this out.
This is the text exchange. So we took photos on that day because we were trying to get like cover photos. So Gabby like sent me some of the photos, and then you put the text on the photo. You just put podcast name because we didn't have a name yet.
Yeah.
And then you said struggled so hard to come up with a name. We settled on nothing. And then I said podcast should be Brain Fog. Ha 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 ha. And then you went, wait, but that's not bad. And I said, no, low-key, it's not bad. This emoji. And then you went, yeah, I kind of dig it. And then in quotations, Brain Fog, the pilot, Brain Fog, Free and Loose, Brain Fog, We're Not Influencers, unsubscribe, because those are the names of the first 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And then you said, almost typed Brain Frog. And then I said, I kind of ... love LUV. And then you went, yeah, same. It's different than any of the others, I think. I went, I agree. I can commit. You go... Could be because I'm still high. And then I do the handshake emoji.
Yeah.
And then you go, but I like it. And I said, I think we figured it out because we're high. I like it too. Our inside joke could be Brain Frog, our merch, and then it's the brain emoji and a frog emoji. And then you go, wait, I actually love, because the way that's our brain cells fighting so hard, but just frog emoji.
Yeah.
That's it. That's pretty much it. Brain Frog is so on brand.
It is. And like the next morning, sober me was like, that is brilliant.
Yes.
I feel like we came up with something really amazing there.
Yes.
And I don't think we'll ever be able to top that.
We should do what we learned this week.
Yes, we should. Do you want to start?
Not really. I don't know what I learned.
Okay, let me think about it.
I'll think too.
What did I learn this week? It is Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm literally like, what day is it? Oh, I can go. I have something. So September was like hell on earth for me in terms of my job. Like, it's just not a good fit for me. It just doesn't work or whatever. Yeah. But I finally finished my big like project event, blah, 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 blah. And now I have a little bit of time off. Not a lot, just like a few days. But I get to coast for the next like month or so basically. And so something I learned in this last month, but especially in this last week that I finished this project, was that like it's just nothing is worth the money or like the anything. Like, you really just have to do shit that is compatible with who you are. Obviously not every job is gonna be like a perfect match, but I've just like, I think I really learned this last week, like I was solidified to me that like you gotta just do what is compatible with you. You can't constantly like fight it all the time, you know? Yeah
I would agree. I mean like obviously it's hard to do, like it's not like easy to do things that you love always, but I think you can't hate it.
Yeah, I totally agree.
It has to be like something you find like at least some pleasure in doing, because I mean otherwise life is literally going to be miserable.
Yeah. And it's like, just because the way that the world is also set up, sorry, I'm just going to readjust. It's like you can't, like, your job is going to make you spend 40 hours there anyways, like unless you're really lucking out and you're getting something that's like a lot more flexible.
Yeah.
But because you have to spend so much time at work, like it just, there's no other way. Like I cannot conceive any other way.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously if you're able to, this is coming from like a pretty privileged place of choice, but
yeah.
to whatever extent you are able to have some kind of choice, like I think you have to move towards something that is just like fulfilling, honestly, you know.
Yeah. I feel like this ties into a lot of what I've been thinking about lately, about how like a lot of creatives, we juggle making an income with also pursuing your creative passions.
Yeah.
And it's basically 2 jobs, but one of them is completely free. Like you don't make anything off of it, but you're working like so hard on that job, but then you also are working around an entire 9-to-5 schedule, and it's really hard to balance that.
Yeah. And the thing that always has to end up taking priority is like how you make
job.
money. Yeah. But it sucks because it's, oh my God, I read this great quote. Somebody posted this on Instagram today. It was like an excerpt from a reading they were doing about how like capitalism is all about consumption and not creation. And so creating is seen as like a luxury, but we really use creating as a way of like understanding and interacting meaningfully with the world. Like it's almost like when they're like, you learn something better when you can teach it back to somebody. I feel like you know the world and yourself better by creating things and not just constantly absorbing them, you know? Yeah. Wow. So that's what I learned this week, guys.
Instagram words of wisdom.
Anyways, what'd you learn this week, Gabby?
What did I learn this week? That is a really good question. I learned that inner bicep tattoos fucking kill.
Yes.
Like that was the worst pain I have felt in a long time. Oh my God. Yeah, I actually was like dying on that tattoo table. I got like a big inner arm piece, and my hand was numb half the time. I had to keep asking for breaks, and I feel like I'm a person with a pretty high pain tolerance. I have really bad period cramps, and like all of my other tattoos have been like a 3 out of 10 on like a pain scale, like my personal pain scale. This like easily like an 8 or a 9.
Yeah. It's just right in your fucking arm. Like,
oh my God, the armpit was the worst. And even as a kid, I was telling Fran this yesterday, maybe you too, I don't know. Oh yeah, I think both of you. Like I would go to the doctor because my inner arm would just like hurt. Yeah. Like the skin was just so sensitive there. And then I was like, yeah, let's get a tattoo there. That'll be a great idea.
The funniest thing you said, so it's like a haunted house, and the funniest thing you said yesterday was when your tattoo artist was like, okay, we just have the windows to go to, and you look down and there are like 8 windows. You're like,
the artist, they were like, okay, we just have to black out the windows. And I was like, I looked and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like that's like so many fucking windows. I'm like a house dying.
With 4 stories on it.
I know. It's truly awful. Oh, it was terrible. Just but thank God the artist was so fast, because I was only there for like an hour and a half, and it was fine.
Put a photo of your tat up here if you want.
I will, for the YouTube listeners. Shout out Beck. Yeah. Incredible.
I also have one from Beck on my side, but years and years and years ago. But they were so fast. They did Gabby's in an hour. That's fucking crazy.
And it's like 7 inches tall.
It's huge.
Maybe 6. I don't know.
It's pretty big for an hour. Big. Like
I know. They did the line work actually so fast. Sorry, I'm gonna move and try and get my cat to join me.
Yes. Okay, the next thing on our list is the lesbian drama.
Oh my God.
I feel like we just have to get into this only because I need everybody to get out of it. You know what I mean? Like I feel like let's get into it so that we can all exit smoothly out of this conversation.
Agreed. Yeah.
I mean, beginning to end, listen, guys, everything is PR always, and if it's not, it still reads as PR, so like who fucking cares? Yeah. And I think that someone said something that was like actually pretty interesting, in the sense that like influencers are a form of entertainment, and they know that, and they also play into that, but it's this kind of like weird genre of entertainment where it's reality TV entertainment type, but on the internet, which is supposed to like close the gap between you and the person to make it feel even more real.
Yeah.
But actually the fact that it's through the internet allows them to do less high production shit that they would in reality TV and get away with like more plot lines and drama and stunts.
Yes.
Because, you know what I mean? Because it's the illusion is already so strong that it can be lower production.
Yeah.
It's just the way that I feel like we're choosing to like meet people or like build networks is like, obviously if I meet someone who is connected in some way, I'm not going to be like, get away, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm not actively seeking, you know, connections in ways that are like very close, because I think that's when it starts to get messy, you know? Like if it happens by accident, yeah, of course, do whatever. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, it feels not by accident. Like it very much feels like people are seeking out these kinds of like connections. I don't know what it's like truly to be an influencer. Like I don't know what it's like to have to navigate that space, but I do think that also no one is looking out for them from like an older generation perspective. And I think I've even seen some TikToks of like older lesbians who were in that 2016 drama being like, guys, like da da da, whatever. But how can you use this platform and this tool that you've been given to, yes, build a business, make your money, whatever, while also feeling like you're living a fulfilling life by your own standards? Like that's my one thing with like fucking internet micro celebrities. Like it's just so, the lines are so blurred between real and fake, because that is the thing that makes it successful, the fact that the lines are blurred. Yeah. But that just feels so weird to me. Like it's too ambiguous, it's too messy, it's too, there are no boundaries. Like
to like slightly shift but maintain and stay in the same world, there's something Tony said like a few weeks ago that has really stuck with me, and I'm like, she said that oftentimes like queer people, like some queer people don't feel queer, and then other like, so quote unquote like straight people feel more queer than those queer people. And I was there and I was just like, yes, like that is so true. Like you get like, I don't know, like people who work in sex work, or like, I don't know, people along like, why am I blanking on like anything,
like pretty much like if you live in the margins of society in the sense that your experience is not like the default one, like typically like if you're disabled, or if you do sex work, or if you like are lower income, like all these things that make like your life more convoluted because of like the way that systems are set up.
Like those people feel queer, like just as queer as anybody else, even more than like the two like gay people who live their little domestic lives in like the suburban town and fit into a lot of heteronormative, like a very heteronormative lifestyle, I should say.
Yeah, because queerness is in that sense defined not by like the thing that everyone is so hung up on, which is literally just gay sex, but like it's defined more by like what kind of life you are or are not able to live, like your access in the world, how you move through the world, how you're perceived by other people, how that affects your experience of the world and their experience of you. Like queerness is about literally like living outside of the norms, like living, being pushed to the margins, and then having to create this whole other sustainable world through like creative means and through community care. Wow, not me really like writing my dissertation right now, but like because it's literally like you've been pushed into like this fucking desert island, right? And you kind of have to get creative, and then you do get creative and you do come up with cool things and interesting things and meaningful things because you've learned what doesn't work so well that you know how to build something that works better. And that is kind of like the root of queerness to me, or like where its history really lies, or where its like transformative power lies. And then what happens is like, obviously with trends, language, fashion, like culture, whatever, people who are less marginalized look in and they're like, that's cool, that's creative, that's a good idea. They'll take it, they'll give you no credit, and they'll you'll be left with even less.
They'll popularize it, and then they'll give you literally nothing.
Exactly. And that is why there are like people having straight sex, whatever that means to you, like, or in these like straight relationships who are sometimes living more queer lives. But also, sorry, just not to, but on a lateral note, I hate these girls who are like, I just don't like their takes when they're like me and my boyfriend are queer, so this is like a queer relationship.
Yes.
Okay, technically, sure.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to like police your experience of gender or anything, but it's not, it actually is less about how you feel, sorry, but like how the world perceives you
and how you navigate the world.
Exactly.
Like the fact that you can be queer, but your relationship isn't necessarily queer. Like, I guess, but also no one is going to perceive you as queer from the outside.
Yeah.
And so therefore you're going to be able to navigate spaces and like walk through the world in a way safer way. You're going to be able to do things that like visibly queer people will not be able to do, because of the fact that you have the privilege of appearing like a straight, like you have like a straight presenting relationship.
Yeah. And it's like that, the whole, I think people get caught up in this invalidation piece where they're like, well, I'm made to feel invalid. I'm made to feel my identity isn't real. I'm made to feel like my experience isn't true. That's important, that you feel valid and like your experience is real, and that you can speak to this part of yourself and this part of your life. However, like, if that's the biggest issue you have, this is also what Tony said, like, and we talked about it a little bit with Aiden too, my roommate, and if your biggest problem is how valid you feel, like, respectfully, there are people getting murdered. Like there are people literally getting murdered. I do think that you deserve to feel valid as well, but I really do think that, like, if we're talking about the biggest problems facing the queer community, it's important that we actually do prioritize people whose real safety is at risk. Because yes, this isn't the fucking oppression Olympics, but we can't sit here and pretend like your struggle is just as intense as someone who's literally like out here fighting for their literal fucking life. Like,
and to be honest, like, not feeling valid, obviously, like, not feeling valid is a valid like issue to have, but it is something that you can work on, because a lot of it stems from internalized homophobia, and also a lot of it comes from the people that you surround yourself with. If you like work on making new friends, you work on like approaching new people, finding queer spaces that are validating, you're not really gonna feel that way.
You're so right in that it's such an internal thing too. It's like something that you can give yourself, but safety is not something that someone can really give to themselves.
Exactly.
Like, and yes, some things I guess you can, but it's a trade-off. And when you, like, if the trade-off is I live my life the way that is authentic to me in terms of how I dress, how I talk, like, if you have to give up different elements of this, and we all do in some way, like, I think every queer person is familiar with this to an extent, like, but how much it is that you have to give up for your safety, that's where it really differs. Like, you know, of like, I get to look and dress like this and it makes me feel comfortable and like myself, and actually that provides me with a lot of protections that I wouldn't otherwise have if I felt like this presentation of my gender or like this expression of my gender was not, you know,
and like I get to look the way I look, and I get to walk through the world pretty safely. I can go places with my partner, and like I have the privilege to decide whether or not I want to present like my, like, I want to be visibly queer, or if I want to hide that. And the fact that I can hide that when I'm out with my girlfriend is also a privilege. You know, like, we went to Italy this summer together, and we chose like in cities, like what cities we wanted to like link arms, or what cities we like, you know, we're best friends, you know. And that is also a privilege too, because we were able to walk those cities safely without like anybody really batting an eye, because we look the way we do, you know?
And so, sorry, just to full circle it, but like going back to this like lesbian YouTuber drama or whatever, like I don't want to be that person who's like, use your platform for something else, because I do recognize that they're kind of serving their purpose in the sense that they're providing the entertainment that we're asking them for. Like, I don't really think that is a totally fair criticism to be like, do more, because the reason why they climbed up there is because they were doing exactly the thing that everyone's asking them to do. But then I do think that like we should remain critical just in terms of like the way that algorithm works, the way that like white lesbians, consumers especially, they have like a huge pull on what the rest of us see, right? Yeah. And that's why they're also so interchangeable, because they're all the fucking same. All the same. Like, if that is what you're pushing and that is what you're interacting with, guess what? Everybody who also doesn't relate to it, that's landing on their page too, because you have such a strong pull. Yeah. And I wonder, like, I don't even know what the right answer to this is sometimes, because I'm like, I don't want anyone to have to like find media like that they feel like is, they're watching it just because it's diverse. Yeah. But I actually think you should be finding media and watching it just because it's different from your experience. Yeah. Like,
I would agree. And I would also, one thing I want to add too about like the white lesbians is I don't want them to start making like activist content, because that's not what like people want for them. That's not what I want. I want what you were saying. Like, I want people to like actively go look and diversify their following. Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, let them be what they are. Yeah. But just don't let that be your whole world. Yeah. You know, there's that Maya Angelou quote that's like, when you do what you can with what you know, and then when you know better, you do better. Right. That's it. Like, no one's pointing fingers. Nobody's doing anything, but just like, this is our slight wisdom to share. Yeah. Speaking of wisdom, we wrote in here that our last topic for today is 2022 year of growth. I actually don't know. Oh no, I do remember you had a conversation that was kind of difficult for you, and then we were talking. I was like, I texted you at the end of the day. I was like, Gabby, I'm so proud of you, like all that, whatever. And then you were like,
I'm gonna need you to remind me what this conversation was.
It was the one that you were dreading having.
Oh my god, yes.
Big convo. Wow. And then at the end of the day, I was like, so proud, like this is so big for you, like all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And then we talked about how 2022 was the year of growth.
Yeah. It really has been. I feel like this has been the year of like setting boundaries, learning what you want, and learning like how to communicate better. I feel like this is the first year of my entire life where I have like actually exhibited good communication patterns and skills.
It's because our frontal lobes have finally started developing.
Yeah. I'm 25 now, bitches.
Yeah. Gabby's frontal lobe is fully
done.
Cooked. Is cooked. I'm 6 months away from my frontal lobe being fully cooked.
You're almost there.
Yeah. I feel it. Every day
You're in your 25th year of life.
That's true. Actually, that's interesting. In Iran, you count your age by the year that you're experiencing. So technically, I would, like, my mom says I'm like 25. Yeah. I really feel like, I'm not even kidding. My birthday was in May. I had a major epiphany like mid-May. Yeah. Woke up in the middle of the night, and then I was like, shit is gonna be different now. And it really was. Like, I think I spent this whole summer doing things I've never done before. Yeah. You know, I got out of a relationship that like wasn't working. I feel like I put some family boundaries in place, and like kind of changed the way that I approached that whole situation. Even though it was hard and none of this was easy, like it would have been harder to stay doing things the way that I was doing things, knowing that it wasn't. Wow, my Angelou quote is coming in clutch again. When you know better, do better. But also, I feel like I've gotten very spiritual this year. Like, I think I've really connected to like shit that like I used to think was very like hippy dippy, like where I was like, I really need to like feel my body, and I really need to like spend time meditating. Like, I really meditated a lot this summer by virtue of the fact like I just went to the park and like sat and stared at the sky.
This is true. You did live at the park.
I lived at the park, dude. I'm so sad that it's not park weather anymore, but
I know.
I'll live.
I hate winter.
I know. But it was truly like quite spiritual for me. And I was like reading things about like kind of spirituality too. Yeah. Not to even like, I think I am very hesitant to join any kind of like group, or like I don't really affiliate myself with any kind of one, sector, belief, like whatever group. But I do like learning about all these things and then taking the parts that I feel like resonate with me, I guess, and then using that to like help me understand the world and myself better. But for the first time ever, like I feel like the way that you have really been able to communicate well, I think I've tapped into a sense of self that I think was a little bit like hidden behind a curtain for a while.
Yeah.
And now I really am able to like see the different aspects of myself. I don't know.
That's so good.
Thanks, man.
I feel like with the communication, like a realization I had this year is that it's, yeah, communicating when you like are upset is hard, but it's better than the resentment that builds when you don't communicate. Because I feel like I've done that in the past. I've done that with friendships, and I've done that with like, oh my god, I'm choking on my own spit. Sorry. So lovely. I've done that in the past. I've done that in like friendships, like relationships with my family, like literally everyone. And it just doesn't work. Like it doesn't work to get like angry and expect people to read your mind. And it kind of, yeah, like it sucks to have conversations with people and be like, hey, when you did this, that hurt my feelings, or like, I'm sorry I did this, like, you know, like that was fucked up of me. I feel like those conversations are difficult but so necessary. And also when you just tell someone right away, oh my god, it solves things so much faster, because like you're actually telling the person what's on your mind, and you're actually like being like, XYZ hurt my feelings, and then you can talk about it and you can actually move on without the resentment that builds when you just expect somebody to know what you're thinking and feeling all the time, because you can't do that. That's not fair to like the other person. And
Aiden, my roommate, says this one thing that I love that like really reframed how I think about this. He was like, you've seen how it goes when you do it this way, why not just try a different way? You know what I mean? It's so simple.
His frontal lobe has fully developed.
He's also 25, and his frontal lobe really cooked in there, because his nuggets of wisdom are always so simple, but they're so accurate. Like, yeah, really, like I've seen how this works when I do it this way. I know how that's gonna be. Why not just do it this other way?
Yeah.
For me, a big thing was, I think I told you this, but I've stopped asking people for like their second opinions all the time or as much. I still ask for advice. I still go to people. I still want like their input.
Yeah.
But I'm no longer like, if I'm sending a certain like text to a person that like maybe I like, or like if I am thinking about like a life decision, like even with my job recently, like, or any of my relationships, like I feel like I am so much more like, my instinct, my knee-jerk reaction is to be like, I should run this by somebody, or like, let me see what this person thinks or whatever. But what I've started doing is I take a second to be like, okay, but truly, what do I feel like at my core? And sometimes it's hard to access. Like, sometimes I don't know. Sometimes it's very muddy. But as best as I can, I try to be like, what would feel good to me in this moment? Like, what feels fair, right, sensical, true to me, you know, kind but still like firm, like all these things. And then I try as best as I can to move forward with that, and then obviously like I get a second opinion too. But I've just been making more decisions, I think, and I've been trusting that like, if I try to do this also blew my mind, but if I try to do something in a way that feels really right to me, and there's nothing like morally wrong with it, or like there's no like core issue, but it's just me self-doubting myself, like if I just go with what I think is right, if that response is not good, I can cross that bridge when I get there, and I can evaluate all its parts. And if that person doesn't like that part of me or that side of me, if it's like a totally neutral like compatibility thing, then I don't even want to be with them. You know what I mean? Like, wow. I know. I know.
Look at you trusting your instincts.
I really have. And you know why? It's like, not to get really psychoanalytical, sorry, just my last thing is like, I feel like I spent a lot of time being like seeking validation and approval from other people, feeling like I could only have self-worth when somebody was like, you're cool and interesting and smart and pretty and all that. Now I'm like, I know I'm cool and interesting and smart and pretty, and like, you know, I don't need that from you. But I think I also got that a lot for like my friends and my community. So I was like, I got it, like I'm good, this is here, and I have all the proof in the world to show me that it is here.
That's so good.
Thanks, man.
Very proud of you.
Thanks. Proud of you. Wow. I'm shocked.
I'm shocked
at our growth
in 2022. You know, I was thinking like what a privilege it is to like grow, to get older. Like I'm so happy that I get to like get older and stuff. I feel like as people age, they're like, oh, I don't want to like turn that age, and I get that thought because like age usually comes with like your body wearing down or like your brain wearing down or your beauty wearing down. But really, like the amount of things that you learn and grow and like how much you just evolve as a person, it's kind of beautiful.
It's beautiful, and it feels so much better than anything looks. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I feel like when you're younger, the obsession is always with how everything looks, and then when you get older, you're kind of like, well, that's just not sustainable, and you start investing in how things feel, and then that feels so fulfilling.
You know what I was thinking? We should do a podcast episode of like our first kisses.
Mine isn't that long of a story. I could do it right now. What time? Can you do it now? How long is
5:45. No, I could not do it now. Mine's pretty long.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll save it for a different one.
Okay,
I don't understand why it's so long though.
Well, it's not that long. It's just like I feel like I have a lot to say.
Okay, yeah. Sure. Can I just know who it was with? Is this first like gay kiss or
no first
ever?
Oh, we could do first gay kiss too.
Mine was the same. Sorry.
I watch it, so that's
true. Your person?
Yeah, first gay kiss might watch. I don't know. Probably not. No.
Wait, I actually don't know the story about.
No, you have heard the story of my first kiss. It was with this boy named. And
no, but the first gay one.
Oh, this girl from my high school.
Wait,
but it was like in my first summer between first and second year.
Oh, whoa! And I just realized I don't know the story, Gabby. That's
my god!
Crazy.
Okay, so we went on a coffee date, and it was like we like talked for like 3 hours or whatever.
Wait, how old were you? When was it? Sorry. Also, if you want to do this in a separate
19
episode, we can do it as a separate
whatever.
episode.
We can do it now. This one's short.
Okay, 19.
Like 3 hours, and then
do you ask her out? She asked you out? How'd it happen?
I want to say she like slid into my DMs like in the winter.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then I messaged her when I was back in like Ottawa.
Oh, yes.
And I was like, hey, I'm back. You want to go out or something?
Cute.
I think.
Okay.
And then we went on this date, and then I was not expecting, I don't know, I just wasn't expecting to kiss her, because also I wasn't like it was a good date, but it was like us just like talking about high school the whole time.
Right.
And so it wasn't like that interesting.
Right. For sure.
Yikes.
No, that's fair. I mean, she probably felt the same, honestly.
Yeah, probably.
Like, practically speaking.
Yeah.
That's why you didn't end up like married and in love, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's probably the same experience.
Yeah, and then we got to, I think I walked her either to her bike or her car.
It's always the fucking car.
I know. And then I honestly think she just kissed me.
Aw, that's so cute.
Yeah.
Did you ever go on a date again? Or
no? Because then she like followed up, and then I was like, because then we started talking about sex, and she was like, oh, you've never had sex with a girl? And I was like,
why'd she say it like that?
She didn't say it exactly like that. She like beat around the bush or whatever. Right. But she was like, oh, you've never like done anything with a girl? And I was like, no. She's like, oh, like we could. And then like I panicked. Sure. And then like a week later I was like, I actually don't think like this is what I want. I'm so sorry. But like anyways, I ended up, because I wasn't really that into her. But and also the idea of like having sex and having like a whole summer fling really scared me. So I said no. But that was my first kiss story. Aww. With a girl.
What was your first kiss ever?
Yeah, I was with this boy, and I like had a crush on him in grade 9, and then because he was a skater.
For sure. Still her type, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else. Still her type.
Speed skater.
Oh, never mind. Because Fran's like a skateboard skater.
Yeah. I think I just had a crush on him because he was like mysterious, lived really far away, and I didn't have to interact with him that much because again,
it's
lesbian.
Pretty lesbian, yeah.
And then when I found out he liked me back, we talked for like a week or two in grade 9. And then I was like, actually no, I'm so sorry, like I'm not interested. And then he was like, oh, that's okay. And then first year, like literally when my first week at university, it was like near his hometown.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, hey, like, do you want to like go grab lunch? Like, I can help you like get your groceries or whatever. And I thought it was just like a nice gesture or whatever.
Never is with men.
Never is.
There's always an alternative motive.
Yeah. And then so we went on this like lunch together, and then he insisted on paying. And I was like, is this a date? And I felt so uncomfortable. And then I remember I was like, can you take me grocery shopping? So I was just trying to like diffuse the tension, whatever, and I had no idea how to be like, I don't want to like go on a date with you. So we went grocery shopping, and then he had to help. This was stupid. I don't know why I asked him to go grocery shopping with me, because then he had to help me bring up the groceries to my like res. And then he was in there, and then he like sat down on the bed or whatever, and I remember just being so awkward and uncomfortable, and I think like I wish I hadn't said like some of the things that I said, because I was like, oh, like grade 9 me would have really liked this, you know. And he's like, well, why can't you now like this? And I was like, and I was like, I've never kissed anybody before. And he was like, oh, well, you know, like, do you want to? Because I could just tell that's what he like wanted.
Oh, clearly, yeah.
And I was like, I need to get this over with,
right.
Like whatever. Aww. Yeah, it was kind of like
sorry.
Yeah, it wasn't
coercive.
Yeah. Then I just like sat down on the couch next to him, and he kissed me, and then it ended up being like a makeout session, and it was so uncomfortable. And I remember him just being on top. He's like this 6'5" man. I remember like after a while, I mean, to me it felt like forever.
No, for
I don't
sure.
actually know how long it was, but I was like, can we stop?
Yeah, thank God.
And he was like, yeah, that's totally fine. And then when I was like, do you mind like if you like go home? And I was like, like don't. And then inside my head I was like, I'm panicking, like I'm freaking the fuck out. But I'm also like kind of happy, because I just had my first kiss and I was 18, and I was like, I feel like I've been like waiting to have my first kiss, because I feel like behind, like I'm like everyone's so far ahead of me, and I'm so behind. Anyways, so I was like, I like kind of happy, kind of just like really uncomfortable. And I was like, maybe don't text me, because I
love you.
I was like I just like get uncomfortable with those things. And he was like, oh, okay, no worries. I was like, yeah, like I'll text you. And then like as he's leaving, I was like, am I supposed to like kiss you goodbye? And he was like, well, if you want to. And I was like, okay. So I kissed him goodbye.
This whole thing is very like, you're a sim in you're like, I press next on the video game is the what is, it's like you're playing back every movie you've ever watched, being like, what is next after this? But it's not like what you naturally are pulled towards doing. Exactly. It's not like coming out of like sheer desire. Oh shit, dude.
But then he left, and then he didn't text me for a few days, but he texted me after like 5 days, I think. I never responded.
That's fine.
I ghosted him.
That's fine.
Yeah. Probably not like the best thing I could have done. I should have maybe said something.
Oh.
Hello? Are you okay? Gus maybe has asthma, and we're looking on getting him on some puffers. So.
I mean, I was going to say it's fine to ghost. I feel like when I was younger, like did that too a few times. Like it was... Like now as an adult, I'm kind of like, that's not really the vibe. But when you're 18, younger, also you're like navigating the situation with like a boy you don't like. You're still figuring out a lot about like yourself and your sexuality. Like I didn't even
think it was a date, and it just ended up in like a makeout session.
He's also not really picking up on the cues that you're putting down, and I'm so glad that you like at that age too could be like, can we stop? Like, can you go home? Even that is so big. So I think like, don't even worry about not that you are, but I think it's not like any moral failing.
No, I don't feel that bad about it, to be honest.
You shouldn't. Wow. Do you know mine? I think I've told you mine.
I think I know yours. It was like in bed and you were listening to some song, like, or something like that.
It's very short. I was 16. I was with my first girlfriend ever. Hi, Anna. She's never gonna watch this. I don't like, we literally live in 2 different planes of existence. I don't even know when the last time I saw anything or heard anything about her was, but I was 16, and I kind of like, it was just one of those things where you're like, you're the only gay people in a place, so you just get together. And I, at that point, was kind of like, I'd been out for a couple years in school. And so I was like, let's get the show on the road. Like, I was like, I'm ready. Like, I need to experience some things. I would like to. And I think also just like as a person, I've always felt very like open or curious or interested. So I was like, not even in a pressure kind of way. Like, I didn't really feel pressure to be on any kind of timeline, especially because I had nobody to compare myself to, because I was like, all my friends are straight. Like, I'm living in a completely different world. So I didn't feel the comparison as much, but I wanted to just like know for the sake of knowing what it would be like to like have a girlfriend, hold her hand, kiss her, like be with somebody in a way that like other people know. Like, I just wanted to know what that felt like. So anyways, that's kind of how we ended up together, because we weren't very compatible, honestly. Like, we're not genuinely that compatible. We only dated like 6 months, but our first kiss was, she came over to my place. She was lying down on my bed. I had a record player.
Oh yes.
And I was obsessed with this Vampire Weekend song called Hannah Hunt, and there's a part of it where I'm gonna play a little snippet of it. There's a part of it that's like a piano part, and I remember like listening to the song being like, this is like the most beautiful part of any song I've ever heard in my life. So I set the what do you call it, the needle on the vinyl. I knew where to put it so that by the time it got to my favorite part of the song, I could go over to her and like be kissing her by the time that part of the song came on. So I timed it out so particularly because I just wanted it to be this kind of like core memory, honestly.
You're such a Taurus Virgo moon.
Do you know what's Leo rising? Do you know what's so funny? I told this to this girl that I'm seeing.
Yeah.
And like, I told her this exact story, and that was her exact same response to. She was like, that is such a Taurus Sun, Virgo Moon, Leo rising combination. And it really is, because if you think about it, the stage production, very Leo rising, the calculatedness, very Virgo moon, and the moviness of it, or like the sensualness of it, or like I'm really trying to cater an experience based off like of every building sense.
A montage.
That's a Taurus thing. Yeah, to be like, let me tap into every sense you have to really make this like a full, experience. So anyways, I'm gonna play you the part of the song.
Beautiful. So excited.
Here we go. So it's like I'm there now. We're kissing. Her braces are hitting my teeth. Still kissing. Her braces are still hitting my teeth. At this point, I pull away. I'm probably looking into her eyes at this point. And then I'm going back in for another kiss. And that is everything.
Incredible.
That you need to know about my first kiss. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think like 1 week later, we had sex, because I was like,
let's do this.
I was like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
And to be fair, like, she was too. Like, we did talk about it, but
yeah.
I was ready to go. I was like, guys, I need to figure my life out.
Does she know that you curated that moment?
I don't know if I ever told her. I don't think so.
That's kind of incredible.
Yeah. It's really something that I would do. And actually, I think I pay very close attention to things like this, and I really like, if I'm planning for something big.
Yeah.
I don't think I would ever plan a first kiss like that ever again, obviously. Like, and I haven't since maybe that day.
Yeah.
Really, like, every kiss afterwards was like, what, it's gonna be whatever it's gonna be. But I know in my head, when I'm thinking about certain kind of experiences I want to curate, I think I still try to be mindful about like, what's the setting, what's the wording, whatever. Not in like a crazy premeditated way, but I just want it, like, I really do want to make the world into a movie wherever it's plausible to do so, and it doesn't take away from the authenticity, but like almost adds to the magicalness of it. Yeah. And I think that is something I like about myself and what I'm willing to do, and I actually do think it shows up in people's lives in like a nice way.
Yeah.
That's
so good.
Thanks. So that was
wow.
Wow. And she was like kind of whatever about it.
But for you, it was a moment.
For me, I mean, honestly, the kiss itself, the vibes were like whatever too.
The braces were hitting my teeth.
The braces were hurting my teeth. They were hitting my teeth. And I was like, I don't feel like this is like the love of my life or whatever. But I was just kind of like, this is nice. I was like, now I've done it.
Yeah.
I remember exactly what she was wearing too. This is fucking crazy. I don't remember what I was wearing, but she was wearing a gray shirt with daisies on it and this like green hoodie.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why that popped into my head. Also, oh my god, after the first time we had sex, I said I love you in the middle of it. I didn't mean it, and she didn't say it back. And then get this, so I don't know why I'm admitting this to the internet. I was like, "Did you hear what I said?" Because I was waiting for her to say it back.
No.
Yeah, I did. No, I respect her so much for being like a sane person and not saying it back, because I think it made me realize that like. Yeah. You're not supposed to say it just because you've seen it in a movie. Yeah. Because I really just said it because I saw it in a movie. Like, yeah. I did not love this person. I cared for her, but like I was not in love with her. Yeah. I was literally like, I had no brain cells. I had no nothing.
Crazy.
But I said it because I just thought like that's what you're supposed to do, you know?
Yeah.
Anyways.
Wow.
So if you're feeling any kind of way about your first experience, just know that at least it wasn't that way. But I don't feel bad about any of it, you know. I was young and naive, and I did what felt good to me in the moment, and
nice.
Now I do things differently.
Yep. Beautiful.
Wow.
Should we go into our song of the week?
Yeah, you already know what mine's gonna be.
Yeah, I do. That would be mine too, but I'll let you have that one because I think you've been listening to it more than I have.
Yeah, I have. Mine is La Combi Versace, Rosalia and Tokisha. I hope I'm saying that right. I never heard of Tokisha.
I don't know. It's so good.
La Combi Versace. Yeah. Rosalia. She's so good.
Yeah, she's amazing.
What's yours?
I think mine is from Noah Cyrus's new album. Mr. Percocet. It's a really good song. Yeah.
Work.
It's very, very good.
Okay, I'm adding it to Slaylist playlist, and
Sounds
you add
good.
yours.
I will do that.
And guys, this is gonna be our, I guess, launch week.
Yeah.
So we're gonna put out the first couple eps. Gonna launch the socials.
Yeah. And then this episode will go live in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. This will be the first one to start up the actual regular schedule, and then I think from there we're aiming every 2 weeks. We'll see what happens. But if you tuned in, thanks so much for tuning in. Let us know what you think about everything.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Oh my god, he's
and Gus
loafing.
has loafed.
Follow our TikTok and our Instagram that's like for the pod, and tell your friends about Brain Frog, and
that's it.
See you next time.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.